Hey guys, welcome to episode 10 of the Michael Boothby Show. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2019, and I am broadcasting live from my friend Chris's house in New Mexico. I'm about a few miles outside of Durango, still out here for a training. Yeah, I had a few days off. Excited to be back for the 10th episode. Oh my gosh, guys. Hello, Sasha. You're the first one in. Thanks for watching. Hey, Jorge, how's it going? Guys, make sure to press like, love, press all those buttons right now because that's going to help us get higher up in the feed. Today's guest is my friend Camile. And we went to school together back at UF. And she's doing some really cool stuff right now. I'm gonna bring her on right now, because why waste the time? So we're gonna connect. And Camile, we're gonna talk a lot. We're gonna have a lot of meaty stuff tonight, guys. But we're gonna talk about balancing a business and her upcoming show, Surreal Camile. Hey, how's it going, Camile?
Oh my gosh, I did it! Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just great.
Oh, thank goodness. So, sometimes technology really hates me, so I wanted to make sure that I actually made this work, and I did, yes.
Yeah, it's also Mercury retrograde, so it's like technology's been like crazy for me.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Oh, hi, Danielle.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, guys, if you're just joining the broadcast, press like, press love, share it with your feed, Help me, help Camile, help us get out there so we can have a lot of engagement. Guys, this is an interactive show, so feel free to just be reacting in the comments the whole time, pressing those buttons, the like, the loves, the ha-has.
Do all the loves.
All the loves, guys. And
all the loves.
If you have any questions at all for Camile or me during the broadcast, just ask them in the comments, and when we find a point in our conversation, we'll stop and we'll answer them. How's it going, Rachel? Nice to see you. Cool.
Hey, Waldo, I see you. I like doing the shout-outs a lot.
Isn't it? It's like you just like shout out to all the people. It's so fun.
And so basically, I like this beginning chat too before 9 p.m. just so people can be like, hey, I'm a part of the show.
Yeah, we can kind of get people involved, get people excited. What are you guys excited about tonight? What are you excited to learn about Surreal Camile? And I see you too. Hey everyone. Yeah, cool. Yeah, dude, I saw the trailer for it. Man, that looked so professional. Looked so cool.
Yeah, so I had, I don't know. Well, are we supposed to talk about it now? Because it's not 9 yet, but.
We can, maybe just some crumbs, some breadcrumbs.
Yeah, so my friend Ryan Reese helped me out with that. And then he's actually going to be the videographer for the first season, which I'm going to be filming in Florida. But then the second season, I'll actually be filming in New York City.
Ooh, fun. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm trying to, this light.
Just to get in. Do you have a tripod? Or
am I being abducted? I think this is part of the show.
This is part of the show. This will be in like the very first episode of Surreal Camile. I don't know if this should be abduction or if I'm just an angel. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you definitely have a bit of a halo coming down. I don't know.
I know. I guess I'll just leave it. I don't know.
It's perfect. Cool. Well, it's 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain Time where I am. So, wow. Let's get started. Camile, how are you doing? How's your day? How's life been since college?
And then also that was, okay, so I don't know what you just said because that was so glitchy. Can you say that again?
Oh, yeah, it's super glitched out. I said, how you doing? How have you been since college? How's your day going?
Yeah, so for everyone who's listening, I met Michael in college. He was in a band. And then I used to go to parties where his band would play, and it was awesome. So yeah, since college, I mean, I moved to New York City pretty soon after. And I studied public relations. So I moved there to just start a PR career, even though I wasn't really sure if that's what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea what I really wanted to do. And then to make a long story short, after 4.5 years of working with a startup there, I kind of learned everything I could. And then I decided to start my own PR business. Yeah, he is
True.
a great musician. And then I started to
Okay.
watch my to start my own PR business. And then I was able to, save enough money to where I am now able to start this creative project.
Ooh,
Oh,
cut out. Okay, you're
am I
back.
back on? I thought
Yeah.
it paused first.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
You-
And so with the business, I made more than I would working corporate or with a startup or anything. They
Hmm.
don't, I was about to curse. They don't pay enough, by the way. Anyone who's trying to enter PR,
Who is they?
they don't, they, like, I know friends who, started in PR, and a lot of people are trying to get out of it because the corporate companies do not pay enough for the amount of hours that you work.
Jeez.
It's really ridiculous. So I was like, well, I would like to actually make money in my life. So
Yeah.
that's,
I
I
feel
started
that.
business. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So I then was able to start the creative project, which is the show. And this is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to create a show. And I got the idea of Surreal Camile based off of my own life, really, and also just interests. So I've always been, I've always had kind of witchy spiritual side to me because my great grandma, she's a psychic and medium, and my great grandma
Cool.
Pauline, and my grandma, she was a palmist. So she would always read my palm every time I go visit her in upstate New York. She's like, let me read your
Yeah.
palm. And she reads cards too. And my Aunt
What would
Gloria,
she
she
tell
travels the
you?
world as a, oh, so she would always read, you can read both palms, but she did say that I should be living a long life. Right. And then she's like, I think you're gonna be having 3 kids. She says 3 kids.
Wow.
I'm 28 and still single, so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Some
I'm
time,
like,
some
yeah,
time
maybe.
left.
Yeah, and then she also she would look under my ring finger here, and then she's like, I see an A. I see an A. That's what she would tell me. Don't know what that means.
Don't know what that means either.
So, yeah. So,
so early
anyway,
exposure to, paranormal,
yeah.
physical, psychic kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and then I've had, so other than the psychics and the mediums in my family, I've also had, family and close friends have experiences with what they believe were UFOs, so I've never had experience with that. But so the show is Surreal Camille. It's going to be unlocking surreal-like topics and stories within things like, the paranormal, but also things like science, so kind of more weird science type of topics. And also spirituality, and also pop culture.
Cool.
So things like surreal horror and sci-fi are definitely going to be part of the show.
Cool. Well, I love that because I feel like, pop culture is like influenced by these events, but then these events will also kind of get influenced by pop culture. It's kind of like this dance that happens.
And then also in pop culture, did you see all the remakes that are happening with Charmed and like Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Yeah.
People are really getting into spirituality more now than ever. Even if they're just into yoga, they say, "Oh, bring my girls to," because you can get kind of spiritual with that. But it's a thing. So I thought this is a show for me to actually get in touch with that side of me that has always been there, but I've never really jumped in with it, because I was always I was like, I'm into witchy things, but I never went that deep, even though my family did that, that side of my family.
Yeah.
So this is a time for me to learn more about that part of me, and also for other people. So I was just saying, in some of the descriptions of the show, like on the campaign, and that I hope this is a third eye for people, but also for me.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think that's the best way to do a show. Even like with this show, I'm like, I get to talk to a lot of people I haven't talked to in years. Some people I've never even talked to before, but they're doing these amazing things. So I think I get to learn from you, but then you also get the opportunity to kind of flesh out your ideas too. And so it's kind of, I think it's like reaffirming, but I think it's really cool. It's kind of like, it's like a college thesis, except now it's our lives and we get to make money doing it.
Yes. And then for anyone, because I wanted to kind of talk about for anyone who either has a business right now and wants to do a side project, or even has a 9-to-5 job and wants to do a side project. Keep in mind, I was able to save more money because right now I'm actually staying in Florida. with my parents. So I'm able to save on that New York City rent. So I'm putting that toward the show. But even if I stayed in New York, and wasn't saving the rent money specifically, the main thing that I would be focusing on is trying to balance out just my overall health. That's something that's really, really important even here, even though I'm in the sun and it's a lot better because I'm not in the cold right now. But I noticed that when you have so many things on your plate, just how you can get kind of mania sometimes, like squirrely, I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because you do so much. Yeah. And so I was like, woo, you know, I got to figure out how to calm my brain. So you really, really have to start taking care of your physical health and spiritual health more than ever, because when your brain, it has just so much on its plate where it almost can't, it's almost going to explode, just like if a computer has, you know, too much in its memory, whatever drive. So it's, you really got to do that. That's something that I've learned along the way.
And just to go a little bit deeper into that, kind of what are some physical and spiritual practices that you've adopted into your day-to-day life to stay balanced, but also to stay in that place where you can create and you can get shit done?
Yeah, so I go for a run almost every day now, in the sun, luckily now, because I'm staying in Florida temporarily. And on top of that, it's not like I'm this expert at meditation. I really am not, I think, but you know, I actually do take 10 to 15 minutes out of the day to actually sit in the sun and just not think, that's what meditating is kind of about, is just to kind of get your brain to shut up. So I do that. That's another thing that I do on top of running. But, you know, but just being in good physical health, just, oh my God, it changes everything. Your focus is so much better. And then, just giving myself some good sun time and just quiet time. And those are the two things that I do consistently. Oh, I also journal. So I journal at least 3 pages every night or morning, but usually night. Nice. And when I say journal, I just jab down anything that's in my mind. Get it out. 3 pages every night. Yeah. Do you do that too?
I used to, it's like Julia Cameron, like Artist Way morning pages, which I did it for a little bit. Like last winter, I was getting into it. Now I haven't been journaling as much, but I'm at a point right now where like I kind of just like get an idea and I'm like, ooh, idea, and I just like start writing like and just go play with it. But I love morning pages, and it's like especially that in itself is a wonderful meditation because it just gets you writing, it gets you out of your head, and it gets you expressing onto the page, which is all helpful.
Because especially, you know, with having your own business and trying to be as mentally strong as possible, especially if you have other things going on. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about too, is if you're trying to start, you know, any kind of project, or if you have a lot of things going on at once, but you're still trying to, you know, reach this career goal, say you have other things going on, like maybe a broken heart, or maybe there's a family tragedy, because, you know, life has I think that life has its way of testing you, you know, especially at times when you're trying to fulfill your dreams. It has its way, you know. I think it really has its way, and I have stories of about that too. But I kind of because it's like once you find yourself working on something that you really love, you swear sometimes that's when the biggest challenges come your way.
Literally today I experienced that, in that I got my first invoice from my first coaching client. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm like gonna make rent. This is so cool. I'm getting paid to do this thing that I love. And like then today, I'm like, I got a flat tire. I take my car into the shop, and they're like, yeah, you need 4 new tires. I'm like, how much will that be? $450. I'm like, oh, universe.
You're like,
oh. But at the same time, I'm like, I see it, and it's like that's what the universe does, though. It's like as soon as you start having like some success with your dream, and like you're starting to get that positive feedback, that's when it's gonna throw those curveballs. It's like, hey, don't get cocky. Come on.
I remember when I moved to New York City and I took that flight to New York City for the first time. I remember that the pilot was just like, everyone on flight, just to let you know, we're almost out of gas.
Yeah.
We're not really sure which airport we're gonna land in.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be okay. I remember him saying that, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, is this a sign that I shouldn't go? I didn't know.
Yeah, right. No, but it's like,
but then I looked at it as no. This is life being like, Camille, no.
It's pushing
We're gonna make it scary for you.
Yeah.
And you gotta push yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you do die on this plane.
100%. I agree with that. Yeah, it's like any time that you're doing the thing that you love, and it's like you do experience that. And it usually it's like it's an external force too. It's not like a limiting belief. It's literally something that you couldn't control, and it comes at you, and that's like. But it's like, you know, to me, I think if it's like the hero's journey. You know, when the hero sets out, does he walk right to the end of the movie? No, there's like all these challenges and these bad guys and these traps, and it's like, you know, we don't live in a movie. Maybe our day-to-day lives aren't as exciting, but I believe the universe works in the same exact way. And so when you start getting those challenges, that's when you know you're on the right path, and you just got to keep going.
Yes, and there was a line by Robert Rodriguez. I think it was that, you know, if this, I can't remember the exact lines, but it was something like, if a fear isn't involved in some way, then you're probably not on the right path.
Yeah.
It's something like that. But anyway, what I do is when those things, you know, with all these other things that might happen in your life, I really do use it as fuel. And I, you know, make sure that I try to maintain confidence as much as possible and belief in myself, because when you believe in yourself and you have confidence in yourself and you feel good, I mean, that can get you through so many things.
So true.
Like more so than anything, I think. So I really make sure, you know, if there is like sadness or anger going on with other things, I really try to use that as fuel. You know, play Beyonce's Lemonade album. It's okay. Shikana, I see it. Play Beyonce's Lemonade album, you know? And I remember after this one time, I was like, you know, working on the project, and I had this, it was like a guy thing, of course. And I'm just like, it was really bothering me.
Yeah.
And then I played Beyonce, like listened to it over and over. And then I reminded myself, I'm just like, girl, you good. Keep on doing your thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so that's another thing. So yeah, I don't know. And by the way, if anyone watching has any like specific small business questions or questions about producing shows, just let me know. And hopefully I can answer them.
Yeah, we had one comment, I think it was from your friend Alvaro Castro. It says, "You go, girl. Unload that computer inside your head and go full speed." Love that. So encouraging.
Yes. He's like a second father to me.
Oh.
He's my friend Jessica Castro's dad. She's
amazing.
a photographer in LA.
Nice.
Yeah. So with the show, we still don't have an exact date of when it's going to come out yet. Okay. I don't want to give away all the episodes of the first season. It will be 4 episodes.
Cool.
Because I just wanted to make 4 episodes as solid as possible, and they're definitely going to be, you know, more stylized and cool. But very educational. Nice. They're going to be super educational but entertaining at the same time. So I will say one of the episodes, lucid dreaming will be one. Lucid dreaming. Ooh,
I love that.
Yeah. But I don't want to give away the others. There's one really special one, and it took me a while to actually get approval for filming it.
Okay.
Because it's going to be shot in a certain location. But, yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have a friend in Chicago. He's going to come on the show, I think, in early April. His name's Alejandro, and he practices dream yoga, and he does a lot of workshops about, like, lucid dreaming and how to like, productively, like, use your dreams. And it's so fascinating. So I know he's going to be all about that episode.
Yeah, I'm glad. So yeah, it'll just be 4 episodes, no exact date yet, but like in the meantime, so what I'm trying to do is just, you know, build up the following while I can. And then also, you know, for each episode, because it's so unique, each episode is so unique in itself that, you know, I'm hoping that press can pick up on it too, and, you know, sending it off to film festivals, and things like that. Yeah, just trying to make the most of it by myself. And it's very hard. So for anyone who, you know, has their own business and is working on these creative projects on their own, it's hard because you know, especially when you don't have a team, but the more and more you grow with it, you can, at some point you're going to realize when you can actually hire someone, and obviously you have to be making enough money to do that. And oh yeah, and that's another thing is that, oh my God, saving money and trying to raise it is so important with these things.
Yeah.
It's so important. So, it's, you have to think about all the ways, whether it's I'm staying in Florida for a little bit to save money. No shame in that. I will do it.
Yeah.
I'll be back in New York City the end of May, but that city, it rips away your money.
Yeah.
And I knew that by doing this, I would have all the money I needed. So,
yeah.
Things like don't go out to eat as much, cook more, do all the things that, all the things to save money. And also with any creative projects, I highly recommend doing like an Indiegogo or Kickstarter campaign. Even if you don't raise that much, I kind of like with Indiegogo, this is my first time I did. I'm like, I'm going to raise 10 grand.
Nice.
No, like, yeah, but I had no idea. I had no idea how much to put, and I was like, maybe I could raise 10 grand.
Why not?
But then
though,
I also, why not? Because you could still keep it all, but with Kickstarter, you cannot. So that's something to know.
Yeah.
Research your crowdfunding campaigns. With Indiegogo, you can keep all the money. So if it's your first time, I think that's kind of better.
Yeah.
Kickstarter is maybe if you are more experienced in the crowdsourcing campaigns, but it's my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is, it's a good tip, which because I have been so busy with the project and with my own business that I still haven't done this yet, but something that people should do with crowdfunding campaigns for like a business or whatever they're starting is, think about different highly influential people who, might be funding projects like yours or who just talk about, like, say if you're starting like some kind of food business, you can reach out to different food-based influencers on Instagram who might have a newsletter, who might have a blog where they can share the link to your campaign because their audience might be interested in a campaign like yours and a business like yours, but it's always about, sharing your information with people who have influence with media that obviously has influence. So that's something that I'm going to be doing also to try to raise more money. But on the good side is that I still have enough to do season 1 by myself with my own.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're like start where you're at. That's what I always tell people. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I have so many ideas I want to be doing and like over here, and maybe some of them require me to be in Chicago, but I'm here in Colorado, and it's like, well, what can I do right now to work on that? Whether that's an outline, whether that's just like reaching out to people. And then I also wanted to speak on the crowdfunding because I have a crowdfunding campaign going on right now.
Right now too, right?
Yeah,
and you have GoFundMe?
GoFundMe, yeah. I went with GoFundMe, and yeah, I'm trying to raise $2,000 for pretty much just so the leadership training I'm doing is $1,300. And then I wanted to leave about $700 just for like gas and accommodation, driving back and forth between Colorado and Chicago. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's reasonable. And I mean, I think so far I've raised, I think, around $580. Yeah, and I'm excited. I feel like I've kind of stepped off the gas a little of it because I know I can get there. And for me, the most effective thing, because I think I raised most of that money in like the first 2 or 3 days because I was really going at it, and really I was just messaging people. I was just messaging a lot of friends and family, and just a lot of people who I haven't even talked to in a while, and just having a conversation with them. Hey, how's it going? Like just catching up, genuinely being interested. And then when they ask, like, hey, like, what are you up to? I can go, well, actually, I'm like doing this training. It's going to support my dreams. I'd love for you to support me. Here's my GoFundMe. Whether it's monetary or it's just sharing this with someone who does. And I've had a lot of success with that. It definitely is a bit time intensive, but I mean, it's like you're raising money. You're asking people for money.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It's scary.
You just, it's like has to constantly be on your mind. You have to tell everybody, message everybody individually, reach out to, whether it's like media who might be covering, a crowdfunding page like yours, or, the people with perhaps like newsletters who would share it. Go to events, Rachel Campbell said networking. And
Hashtag networking. Yeah.
Hashtag networking. Yeah. It's everything. True. So, and it's a lot, because if when you're doing it by yourself, it's a lot because you're like, okay,
I
I'm
know.
not only trying to raise money, I'm actually trying to, you know, maintain the business that I started because you have your own
Yeah.
business too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and then also I have to make sure that I keep my creativity going with this show, with the producing, with the coordinating. Yeah, so it's a lot. It's really a lot.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm in that same boat where it's like, yeah, even like earlier, you're like, I wish I had a team. I'm like, oh my God, me too. Because like, even in just taking these broadcasts from Facebook Live, and like now I have to go and like edit them, add a header and credits, and then upload them to YouTube. That in itself is like another like 2 hours of work. And especially I've been stuck on episode 5. I've been trying to upload it like 4 different times, and it's just like gets to the end of uploading to YouTube and then just like fucks up. And I'm like, I don't know why.
And it's like, never
Yeah,
mind.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm wasting
So,
all this time trying to just like also get this YouTube channel so I can have an archive of these shows. But at the same time, I'm like trying to grow my coaching business. I'm writing a book on dating that I'm going to be like promoting the hell out of, like once it's up on Amazon for like the next 2 months, using a lot of the same strategies that we're talking about right now for crowdfunding, you know, and especially for that, my main thing is I'm just going to try to get on as many podcasts with dating coaches, dating companies, or any influential person who wants to have me, because I know that if I can get on their show and just talk about my book, that's all, and be myself, that's all I have to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people in our position, they have to, you know, be their own publicist. And, you know, luckily, like
Yeah.
I am a publicist, but for
Right.
anyone watching, media lists, okay. What you know, make sure you think about whatever you're trying to get the word out about, you know, with your business, think about, okay, your audience, what do they read? Okay, let me go to these places. Let me look at the writers at these places or at the producers of these places. What do they, let me find the writers who cover things related to my business. Okay, let me see if they put their email in their thread. If not, let me look at their Twitter. Maybe they have a website of their own that has their email. You know, there are ways.
Yeah.
But that's if you do it like organically, because in the PR world, obviously sometimes there are like, you know, there are databases and you build your list over the time. But for anyone who is new to trying to, you know, get the word out about their business on their own, PR speaking, getting media relations, you know, that's something that you really got to think about, because sometimes, you know, people will put their email, writers will put their email. So that's just a little tip there.
Love that.
And then of course, like, you know, the Instagram influencers are always a way too, whether it's them sharing a post on their page or on their stories, sharing a tweet, all that stuff. So, and then social media is another thing when you're starting off. Yeah.
Ooh.
Freeze. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. I just got a Facebook message.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I cover. By the way, if anyone has any questions, put them down.
Yeah, go for it, guys.
Put them down.
Also remember, like, love, press all those buttons. Are we making any sense right now? You know, it's hard to be doing the show without an actual audience. You guys are our audience. So, you know, the more kind of feedback we get, the more interaction we get, the less crazy we feel. We feel less like we're talking to a phone and like we're actually reaching people. Yeah. But yeah, guys, go ahead. You know, any questions or anything. There's another thing in your email to me, and I just love this phrase. You said, "Organize chaos like a motherfucker."
Yeah. Oh, we can curse on this show?
Yeah. It's my show.
Organize. I know, because
we're not on TV.
Like,
no.
Is he gonna judge me?
No, fuck it.
On this live show, are people gonna be like, ooh?
This is my show. There's no FCC here.
Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah, I was like telling you, another tip that people should know is to organize like a motherfucker. And sometimes it's hard to know your organization personality, let's say. So it's really, I don't want to say this is exactly what you should do, but here's what works for me. Yeah. So I have, for any meetings that I have, I put that in my phone calendar with reminders, right? So these are like in-person meetings or perhaps like a interview phone call, that kind of thing. That goes to my phone because you can actually get reminders and it's right in your face. Your phone's always by you. But when it's the day-to-day, I like actually writing it down in an agenda. You know, in an agenda where you actually have to write it down, because actually, you know, not only thinking about it, of course, but actually writing it down just helps with the memory.
Yeah, yeah.
And then looking back at it at the morning, you actually, because, you know, obviously you wake up and, you know, you think, what year is it? I don't know, because I'm, you know, I suck at sleep and then I suck at getting up in the morning.
Sure.
But then I
Yeah.
look at my agenda and I'm like, oh, yeah,
Oh.
I have this job and this is what I got to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do that. And then, you know, things like for creatives out there, I have my own journal just for creative ideas. Like, so for the show, I have a journal just for my show ideas. And then I have another journal that's just for just spitting out whatever the fuck
Love
is
that.
on my mind. So I could be like, I was really bothered today by this person, but whatever, blah, 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 blah. Just
Yeah,
get it out of
just
your
venting,
mind.
getting it out. Yeah, love it. Yeah.
Just get it out. Yeah, so and then Google Calendar. A lot of people love Google Calendar and like apps like Evernote because you can, you know, also put the to-dos. But for me, I like to use less tech when it comes to my organization. I like tangible things. I like to write things down. It helps me remember more, but some people are different. Some people are like, no, if it can all be on my phone, it's good.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, even with books, like I can't read from a Kindle.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
I
I
can't
get
do
that.
it.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, there's
It's just not for me.
but
Yeah.
there is something about having like that tangible journal and being able to hold it. I still have journals and like I write in them every now and then, but I mostly use Evernote for my notes, Google Calendar for kind of events, and then like I have
Google Calendar is great. It really is.
yeah, and Google Drive, I mean, I just have like my folders for my different projects, and then in those I'll have like, okay, marketing materials, like ideas, actual like here's the business outline, and just so it's I think Google Drive, I mean, or whatever you want to use, Apple Cloud, I don't know, but it's really important to have just like that folder, those folder systems set up in a cloud where you can access that information from everywhere.
Yes, and that's another thing that I always do. Yeah, so I have this is just organization tips, but yeah, for the show I have my Surreal Camile folder, and within there I have so many other folders that just help, whether with, you know, it's show ideas, episodes broken down by, you know, the scenes. So there are just different sheets for different episodes, contact lists, you know, different contact lists out there, you know, items that I'll need on different shoot days. So yeah, I definitely utilize the cloud and Google in that way.
Yeah, it's great too, especially when it comes to like production or anything where you're going to be working with other people, because then it's like if you have to get that information, it's as easy, okay, here's the shared link, boom, send it on Messenger, send it in a text, send it in email, and now everyone has access. Like it's so easy.
Yes. And so I think those were the four main tips that I wanted to talk about, is just making sure that you enhance your mental focus with better physical and spiritual health. That's very important. Mm-hmm. You know, using any outside pain, you know, because life has its way of throwing things at you as fuel. Fight for yourself. Organize like a motherfucker. And then, you know, you got to save and raise that moolah, baby. It's all about the money. And especially when you're in New York City, you have to be resourceful. Do not go blowing your money in the first year like I did. Because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know. Oh my God. I spent way too much money my first year when I lived there.
Yeah. What'd you spend it on? Just like, you know, like going out, drinks, like eating.
Yeah, but I also was just not, it was stupid. Yeah, it was just stupid stuff like that. And I was not being mindful of what I was spending money on. You know, I didn't actually learn about for tax organization. Why is it slipping my mind?
IRS?
Not the no, not the IRS. You know, but Excel sheet, your spending sheet. Yeah, of what you spent on the year. But, you know, I now organize everything that I spend. You know, I keep track of everything because I write it all off.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I'll say, so from travel expense, what? That was a Pinterest message. From, you know, travel to food. And I'll write everything off as a business expense. So Rachel's like, I didn't learn about that until I was 27. Yeah, I think
learn to
I was
adult. Yeah,
about
same.
that. I was about, yeah, same, yeah, I think because I got an accountant and luckily he's really, really good, but I think I was 25 when I got him. And then he's like, Camille, okay, I need what is it called? Expenditure sheet? Because someone knows, put it
Yeah,
down. It's slipping my mind. But he's like, yeah, or your expense sheet, I need your
yeah,
expense sheet. And I was like, what do you mean? And then he
yeah,
said, well, everything that you spent money on for the year. And I'm like, what? That's going to take me so long. But, you got to do it. And so I
yeah,
also, try to keep track every month and each month at the end of, or every day if you can.
yeah,
But, if I'm like, I didn't put any, because, you don't want to be in April and then you're like, oh shit, I didn't track anything this
yeah.
past year at all. It happens, but
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that.
yeah,
At the beginning of this
it
year,
takes forever.
yeah, I mean, I started my own expense sheet at the beginning of this year because I knew I was like, well, I was flying out to Colorado. I've now flown out here 2 times. Obviously, I drove out here this last time for this training because I decided in December, I'm like, I want to be a coach this year. I'm going to become a coach. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm going to do the training. But now that that's my job, I'm like, well, now I can write everything off. Like driving here, I have an app on my phone that tracks my mileage. But like I wrote off all my plane tickets, the trainings themselves, because it's all just like that training is allowing me to become a better coach, and coaching is my business. So it's cool. And then my mom's an accountant, so she helps me out with my taxes. And I'm like, Mom, I got all these
Yes.
expenses. And she was like, that's great, but like, those expenses only match your income. So you got to get some income. And I'm like, thanks, Mom. I'm working on it.
Thanks, Mom.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yes.
yeah, which is cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting though, because I'm like, this year I feel like I have like only made money for myself this year, like working for myself, which is awesome. And it's like I haven't made a lot yet, but it's like I have this book coming out. I'm going to be developing a whole course out of it, and just like I just feel all these like really big things, and I'm so excited for it. And it's like it's scary, exactly. And then
I'm
you're
so freaking excited for you because you have
yeah,
so much going on and I
I
love it.
know,
I love it.
I
And
know.
then, but yeah, so you were saying, what did you do before you started going off on your own?
Yeah, so I spent much of the last 2 years in Chicago working brand ambassador jobs, which
Okay.
is it's really, especially I'm sure like there's probably a bunch of them in New York as well, but it's a big
Yeah.
scene in Chicago, and it's really flexible work, and most of it pays between like $20 and $30 an hour. It's like gig based. It's like the gig economy if the gig economy actually paid you well, because most of those
Hmm.
jobs. I've done like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, and like end up working all these hours and you end up making no money, and then you're 1099, so you get taxed twice, and so you end up making no money, which I honestly think like the gig economy, it's a real big scam, and these companies need to treat their employees like employees, because they're really utilizing this whole loophole in our tax system and getting a lot of
It's
like
terrible.
free
Yeah.
labor, and people aren't getting health care, and it's like to make like a livable wage. And when I say livable wage, I mean like you're making rent, you're able to live comfortably and have all the insurances. Like I've met people, they're pulling like 80, 90 hour weeks, like driving for Uber, and like that's insane. No one should have to work that much just to live. Um,
Hmm.
which is
I know it.
yeah, and for me it's like that's my inspiration. It's like, why start a business? Because it's like this is not only the only way that I've found for me to make money, it's the only way I'm going to find where I'm going to make a lot of money and be able to
Yeah.
escape that,
Yes.
and do what I
And
love, you know
hmm and like even though PR is not what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, I was like, there's no reason why I should not have my own business right now because I know what I'm making and I know what my boss was making. And
yeah,
I know and I knew, and I knew that I could do the same thing and be making, 3, 4 times as much.
yeah,
So I said,
yeah.
you're a fucking idiot if you don't do this. Because and also, with what I do, a lot of the work I do is from Hi Patrick. A lot of the work I do is
Patrick
from
Terry.
wait, you know him?
How do you know? Pete Terry went to my high school.
Pete
We're
Terry.
going deep
Pete
tonight, guys.
Terry. Pete Terry was in like my college crew. I had this
Ah,
like big crew, and
hell
we had
yeah.
this party crew, and he was in it.
That's so funny. Because I went to Winter Park High School, and it was funny because I also went to Fort Myers High School, and down in Florida, like my first years of high school. And it was really funny when I went to UF because like some of my like really good friends from like Winter Park and then like Fort Myers, like they either like joined sororities or through some of it, and like they became best friends. And I'm like, my worlds are just like fucking colliding. It's so crazy. That's awesome. Hey, Patrick, thanks for joining us, man.
I forgot what I was saying before.
We're talking
Patrick,
about business.
what was I saying before?
We're talking about how you can make more money by making your own business and going out on your own.
Yeah, and so one thing that I'm working on now is so I did my website myself. I did a lot of things by myself. Does my website look like it sucks ass? Oh yeah, and I don't mean in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't. I was like, wait, some people are into that. But no. My website right now is not good enough. It's not like it's not designer pretty. You know what I mean?
Sure. What are you
using? Yet I was still able. I'm using Wix. But then my personal website is Squarespace.
Yeah, Squarespace is so much better than Wix. I've used them both. Yeah.
It's just that the templates are just so much better. But I was still able to get the customers and still my clients. I was still able to get enough clients and make enough money for myself to also have these projects and everything. And a big part of that is just you gotta speak with confidence. You gotta speak like you know what you're talking about, even though people might ask you questions where you're like, I don't know that. But so you
always
gotta really be good at that. You always have an answer, and then also just be kind. Yeah, just be kind and but don't take shit from anybody either. Don't let people take advantage of you.
Yeah, I love that. Like for me, I think this is kind of this training program that I'm going through in like level 2, we all kind of created contracts for ourselves of like who we are. And mine was, I'm an authentic, heart-centered, and inspiring leader. And I've written that, it sits above my bed, so every morning I read it. But it's like, for me, it's like, exactly, it's like finding those virtues or finding those qualities, those really positive qualities that you want to embody. And then living that every second of my life, because that's what I decided back in December when I wanted to become a coach. I said, I don't just want to be a coach because like there's a lot of money or like it's easy, and so far it's been neither of those. It's been very hard, and there hasn't been a lot of money so far. But I decided I want to be the real deal. I want to be authentic, because I don't want to just be this guy who's like telling people what to do while not doing it myself, because I think the best results come from your own life and your own experience. So like how I feel like where I'm at as a coach is like I don't have it all figured out, and I might never have it figured out, but here I am, and like here's like what you like with my client today. I was like, what you just told me, I had a very similar experience last year. Here's what didn't work. Here's what did work. Like, try it out. Because, it's all an experiment. Life is an experiment, and you have to mix things up. You have to try new things. Otherwise, you do get stagnant, and then that's when you really get stuck, either in that 9 to 5 or the rat race or wherever you are, and you can always get unstuck. It's as simple as just starting to do something a little bit differently.
Yes. And then did the Landmark Forum, Murray was mentioned that. I've never done it.
I'm doing TOSPE, which it's a program out in Durango. It's similar. I'm pretty sure it was kind of based off of that. It's pretty similar. But I mean, it's definitely an intense experience. But it's been very transformational. I've done a lot of spiritual work myself. So far I've done like 4 ayahuasca ceremonies. I practice Kundalini yoga and breath work, and that for me is like those are my practices, and that's kind of what I do every day to keep this body rolling and this mind functioning at a high.
Yeah, because you have a mind that you got to be doing a lot of things like me.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard to tell people, oh yeah, like here's exactly, because everyone is so different.
There's
it's like,
no
well, here's some things that you can try.
Yeah, there is not a one
pick
size
one that
fits all
calls
approach.
to you.
Yeah.
Think about what might call to you, try it, and then you go from there. And I make sure I tell everyone, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I have my business, and yeah, I'm working on this creative project. But like a lot of times, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You gotta fake it till you make it. I'm just. But there's Google. You learn. There are books. I was like, and I always say, I have a brain and it works. So I don't really understand why I really can't do anything I put my mind to. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. I just think we stop ourselves. And I know that because I used to stop myself. I was this guy who I've always been very creative, but I never had the encouragement, or perhaps, it's like I would have an idea, but then I wouldn't do anything with it. And so that was kind of my habit. Oh, this grand idea, and it'd be a really big idea. And then I'd be like, oh my God, that's going to take so much work. I don't know anything about that. And then I give up. And then I get another idea. And it's funny because like I was diagnosed as bipolar last year. And I'm like, I don't think I'm bipolar. I just think I did not know how to channel all of this energy that I was receiving, all of this creative energy. And our education system does not teach us to be creative. It teaches us to learn these subjects that have been like decided like 100 years ago, and it teaches us to conform to society and these structures. But see, that's kind of motivated me, and I almost see myself in the next 5 years, 5 to 10, maybe even less than that, I'm going to create my own training center that's going to be based on improvisation, because I've found improvisation to be the quickest path towards creative freedom and expression and even enlightenment, because that's what creativity is, people. When you have the ability to create, you can create a life. You can create anything. And it all starts in these like tiny moments. Like in some of my training, what I do is like, I just do these role plays with my students of like, here, one of you be the cashier at the grocery store, and the other person just be you. How does that conversation normally go? Go. Boom. If you wanted to make this person day, how would you do it? What would you say? How would the conversation be different? And literally just do that, and it's amazing, just like the kind of conversation that just come out of this little improv game. But now it's like people take that, and it's a very practical example. Next time they're in the grocery store, oh, wait, I've already been here, and that turns on, and now you're creating a conversation. And it's like, that's where life happens, in these little moments.
Yes.
It's not these big things.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Yeah, and so I've never done it. I've only done an improv class once with Brittany Brave, who you also know. And
she's
so
coming on in April.
Yeah, Brittany's coming on. And so that's something that I also want to do more of, because I'm going to be speaking on camera more. So I want to be able to.
I'd love to. I'd love to work with you too. Maybe we can do like a PR for improv trade, where I can give you like a one-on-one workshop, and then you can just give me some advice or something. I would love that.
Yes, next. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, I know. Our next business venture.
Yes. Aiken says, hey,
so,
dude. Oh, sorry. Hey, Aiken.
Hi.
Aiken was
Aiken.
one of my best friends from New Zealand. When I got into stand-up comedy with him.
Oh, you lived there, right?
I did. For a whole year. I met him in Wellington. We performed at an EDM festival on the South Island together.
What?
That was,
that's so cool!
New Year's Eve. What was that? Was that 2016? I think it was 2016 or 20. Yeah. Or I don't even know. 2015? God, I don't. It was a time ago.
That.
It was wild.
I would be the girl dancing in the background.
Yeah.
I love concerts so much.
I got naked.
And that's
I got completely
naked
at this festival. It was a part of my joke too. I had this whole joke at the time about how it was like back in college, I had this dream that like I would get naked at a party, and like someone would see me and they'd be like, it's happening. And they would get naked, and then someone would see them and like, yes, it's happening. And it's like this coup d'etat. And then by then it's like by the end of it, like a minute later, everyone in the party's naked, but everyone's like cool with it. And it's like, oh, cool. Like we're just humans, and these are our bodies, and there's no guilt or shame.
That makes me so happy.
Yes. But and the punchline of the joke was like, it never happened. So my friends would just be like, Michael, fucking put your pants back on. You're embarrassing yourself. And I was like, no. Even back then, I was like, I saw this world where we could just express ourselves and like have fun, and was like, but it was just like, I'm like too ahead of the times.
And you know what, whatever, just be yourself. I love it so much, because I remember when I would go to like the drum circles in Miami, and we would all skinny dip in the ocean and like drink wine and underage, all that stuff. Yeah. Oh my God, I loved it. And I love concerts. And that's another thing also, like, okay, so I learned about myself, when I think about what really makes me happy, something that really makes me happy is, it's getting lost in creative things like music and dance, right? And travel, all of those, like anything free-spirited fun. And this is something I really know about myself. So especially when you have your business going on, you have your creative project going on, you have this, you might have kids. I don't have kids, and if I did, I don't even know how I would do. I have no idea. People who have kids who can do all that, like, I bow to you. But yeah, so something that I make sure I do is actually, it's go to a concert, because music and if I cannot, like, for whatever reason, I have certain playlists that can definitely put me in a certain mood that I need to be in. Music really does save me in times. When it's a hard time, or frustration, whatever. Like I was telling you that one time that I had a really bad breakup. I remember, and this was like last year. I just played like the Beyonce album over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I swear, I was like, I don't know how I'm over it this quickly, but I'm actually really fine.
Yeah.
And then I was already, and yeah, and then also just, maintaining confidence is to repeat that is just so important when you have all of these things going on, because people are going to find their ways to put you down and hate on you sometimes.
And it's sad too, because like really all that is a projection of their own frustrations with themselves. But I've experienced a bit of that as well so far, and like, I'm not even there yet. I still very much feel like Luke Skywalker, like training with Yoda, like totally not ready to be out in the world, but still pushing myself to be out in the world. But I don't know though. It's like, I guess that's the discernment, right? It's like the friends who, when you start living your dream, who are there and have your back and are supporting you and are like, how can you help me? Those are the people you hang out with. And the ones who are hating or going, oh, well, fuck Camille, or, fuck Michael for doing, it's like, then you're like, all right, delete. Like,
and I'm like, I'm pretty good at picking that up too.
Yeah.
Luckily I have that. And I remember saying that I'm I'm a kind of a, an empath in a lot of ways, because I am very good at picking up people's feelings, toward me, toward other people, all of that. Luckily, that's just something I have innately.
Yeah.
And so, it took me a while to, learn how to not give a fuck. I think that's, it took me a while, and coming from somebody, like, I was so bullied in high school, so bullied.
Really?
And so I had to go through all that. Yes, because,
why?
And it was usually it's for, with body shaming, it's usually like, it's usually like the fat story, but I was actually I was always really, really skinny. So I was always bullied about that. Right.
Oh,
and then,
man, you can't
oh my
win.
God, it was bad. Like I was called anorexic girl, even though I had friends, but even my friends would be like, yo, you're bulimic. And I'm like, oh my God, I love food though.
Yeah. Oh man.
And so, but then college came around, and that's kind of when I started to understand, to really understand that, I build my confidence. That's when I found my confidence for the most part, but then I didn't really know how to handle it, because you're also in that party life. And then I went like wild, in a way. And then I kind of lost myself because, in high school, I was so focused on my brains only. And then and then college comes around, and I'm like, wait, I can get attention. And then, I got too caught up in that. And then after college, I'm like, okay, Camille, this is how you spent your 4 years. You had a good time. You had some crazy times, wild ride, but now you really have to focus on your mind. Keep the confidence, but you gotta really focus on the mind more so now too. And so that's when I moved to New York and made a big change. So
I think it's funny talking about just about college and getting confidence, because I think in the same way I got a lot of confidence in college. I mean, I think a lot even from I studied history. I gained a lot of confidence as a writer in college. That's when I first started getting a lot of positive feedback from professors and even my friends who would read my writing, go, oh, this is really good. And that's because it
made you feel special. You're like, I have a talent.
Yeah, and that's my whole life was I wanted to be an artist, and yet I don't think it was, my current girlfriend, I hate that. My girlfriend, Sasha, Jesus Christ, I don't like the way I said that. My loving girlfriend,
because
Sasha.
In 1 month, it's
no. My girlfriend, Sasha, who I love so much, before we were dating, she was already living in Chicago, I remember, and I visited her, and I remember I was depressed at the time and telling her all this. I'm like, why do I feel this way? And she was the first person to look me in the eyes and go, Michael, you're an artist. You feel depressed because you're not creating things. Yeah. And this was before we were dating.
No, but I know the feeling. I know the feeling. And I have friends in my life where, I would get imposter syndrome, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm such a fraud. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but they would say, Camille, you're a creator. You are.
Yeah.
And, they would go as far
Oh,
Am I coming back? Am I back?
you're back.
Okay, I'm back. They would say, Akil's like, yeah, let's get naked. They would say all these things, and they're like, no, Camille, this is you. This is you. I had someone who told me, like, all the video work that I started to put out, even though it was like, fun dance videos. I'm not a dancer, a professional dancer, but he would say, like, you got to do something on camera. Like, you got to do something with performing. That's you. And so I had so much confidence build up from people telling me that, because, maybe a part of me always felt it. I'm like, I think I got something, like I got some fire here,
Yeah.
But it was really helped when I had other people telling me that, they felt that about me. I remember one girl came up to me and she's like, oh my God, I wish I had the confidence that you had on camera. And I'm like,
it's
huh?
like you can.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also
so
like it's in
like
you.
It helps.
Yeah. No,
it helps.
It only takes one person to, like, because that's what happened. Sasha told me, you're an artist, and then everything clicked, and I said, oh, now, like, I need to spend every moment of my life, like, creating. And it was hard, man. In the beginning, like, creating for me, even like the first few sketches like I ever wrote were like, God, it was like pulling teeth. I was like, why is this so hard? And it's because, like, it's a muscle, and it was just like had not been worked out ever. And I do believe, like, that's kind of like, that's the value of coaching, but even more so of good friends, like, good friends will be brutally honest with you, and they will tell you what you need to hear, and they will inspire you, and they will encourage you, because we don't see things. We walk around like this, and we think we know everything, but we have all these blind spots, and we need people who know us, and are in relationship with us to tell us, like, those things. And it's our job to take none of it personally and to use it as feedback and as motivation to keep going.
And yes, and not to take it personally. And again, it goes back to that thing of just, not taking it personally. And for anyone who has something to say, anyone who has something negative to say who you don't know, like, you actually you don't give a fuck about what they say. Those are the people that you don't need to give a shit about. Yeah. And you don't know, like, who cares? You don't know them. But for the people in your life who can give you constructive criticism, oh yeah, definitely, like, you could take that into consideration for sure. And but obviously, like, don't take it personally if they're like, okay, well, it wasn't like your best, obviously. And I think either way, deep down, we know when it's not our best anyway.
We're already beating ourselves up about it. We don't need you to tell us too. Like, and then those people think they're helping too. They're like, ooh, I gave them feedback. It's like, that wasn't even helpful, motherfucker.
I know. So it was not constructive. You just criticized, damn it.
You're just criticizing because you can't create anything, and you're jealous.
So that's the hard part about, like, putting your creative work out there. And this is, like, my first time, you know what I mean? Like, this is my first time. I was like, I have this idea, and I only have a limited budget. So obviously it's not going to be, it's not going to be the best production, because we don't have a big team. It's me and one videographer, so we're going to do the best we can. But obviously when you have, like, assistant director, and I'm going to have to direct too. I have to wear all the hats, and, like, my first project, but I have to wear all the hats because I have a limited budget. So
same.
It is what it is.
Well,
so
hey,
you
man.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm filming. Over the next 2 months, I'm filming, directing, and editing a documentary about this whole training process, and I'm doing it all, and I'm literally doing it with this tripod and my Pixel 3, because it's easy, and it's what I have, and it'll get it done. Will it be like Planet Earth? Fuck no. But will it be done? And will it be really cool and really kind of intriguing and get people thinking and have a message, and at the end say directed by Michael Boothby? Yeah, it will. It'll be done, and it'll be out there, and then people can say, well, like, damn, he shot all that on a Pixel 3. We should give him better equipment because he knows what he's doing. And that's what you have to do.
You are going to inspire people. Even the fact, like, that you already made your announcements and you're already doing this show. I guarantee you people are just like, there's something inside a lot of people that are like, I kind of want to do that too.
Yeah, go for it. And I say that every show. Like, I think everyone should have a show, because it's like, look, what's the content that's out there? It's all made in, like, Hollywood by people who don't give a fuck about us, who are, like, getting these marketing charts and this is what the 20 to 35 demographic likes. We'll go write this, and it's like, fuck that. write your own shit and like talk to the people you want to talk to and who inspire you, and share in that inspiration and bring it to everyone, because like I think that's the way forward for the 21st century. It's community. We can use this technology to really connect and like ascend into this like collective consciousness that's like full collaboration. We don't need competition anymore. It's like, it's so old. It's so 20th century, and it's like, it's so old. And that's my inspiration for everyone. Is like, how can you find ways to collaborate with the people in your life and build something that you're all proud of? Because you can't do anything alone. Like, even though like I'm doing the show,
you can.
You know, you're on the show, and like there's been 10 people who said, I'm gonna come on the show. And without you guys, it's like, it would just be me talking to a camera, which I'm sure I can make entertaining and insightful, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk to my phone by myself for an hour every week. That sounds, I don't know, maybe in the future, but not right now. You know, maybe when there's more actual interaction in the comments and I don't feel like as crazy doing this, because I do still feel crazy. I'm literally in the living room with a fucking like tiny ass phone on a tripod. Like, what the fuck? It's 2019. This is crazy.
I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone. I'm crouching on my bed currently, and I'm like, I have a wolf shirt on.
Nice, dude.
It's a wolf. My shirt is a wolf drinking beer.
That's awesome.
Wait, is that beer? In an astronaut thing.
See, and like someone created that and sold it online. I love it. Like, that's like the world we live in. Like,
I saw this shirt. Oh, that's another thing. Like, what you wear, it like, I'm not so materialistic. I'm really not.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that you can buy and wear that like, oh, it makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You know? So I definitely believe in the power of style, for sure.
I mean,
and when I saw this shirt, a wolf, I actually Googled lone wolf shirt, because I always felt like a lone wolf at heart. Awesome. I am a lone wolf at heart. Yeah. So I know that about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that though. But it's like, I don't know. The more I'm learning, the more I'm like life is like, we're just like in this fucking video game. So it's like, yeah, buy the clothes that make you feel good, like the upgrades, and like experiment and go on quests and adventures and have friends, and just fucking play, people. Just play, because it's like one day we'll be dead and you'll be like, oh, I spent my time in a fucking cubicle doing what, for who, and why? It's pointless. It's like most jobs are really fucking pointless. And it's like, we are here, to create meaning and to elevate.
I think that's like if I were to have one meaning of life, it's to create. You know, it's to create. And then and then you were saying community too, and I think that's also a really big part of it. You know, Oh God, I lost my thought.
It's okay. Community, 21st century, technology.
Yeah. So to create. Well, for anyone who's watching, do we have to remind people to ask questions? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It says there's 2 people watching, so I don't know. There may just not be people watching. I don't know. We have a few more minutes though, so maybe.
Oh yeah, but I could. The show. Should I talk? Yeah. So for anyone who wants to know more about my upcoming show, which we do not have an exact air date yet, and it will. And I'm also not sure if it'll be on both YouTube and Facebook Live. If it'll be Facebook Live, so that's something that's to be determined. And also I have to think about with the festivals, do I want to hold off on putting it out there until I don't know. I actually don't know. So if anyone knows, let me know. So that's something I have to think about. But like as of now, it's gonna be like out there in May. Most likely it'll be May because we're already shooting this month.
Yeah, cool.
And so so there's definitely enough time like in April to edit. But so for anyone who wants to keep an eye out for when the show comes out. I have the social media pages up. Just follow Surreal Camile, and Camile is with 1 L, SURREALCAMILE, and it's on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook.
Yeah.
So make sure to follow that, because even in the social media pages, you're going to learn something new every day.
Cool.
I put posts up about anything from astrology, even witchcraft, because that's in the spiritualism that's in the spirituality category. Weird science things, like I put a post up about bacteria on your hands,
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like constantly learn about everything, about anything within any topic within the paranormal, within like weird science, and spirituality, and then things like horror sci-fi. So another thing is, usually every Thursday, it wasn't this week, but usually every Thursday I'll share a throwback to some kind of horror sci-fi movie.
Cool. Yeah.
That's surreal-like. So it's a really fun social media page, and they just started up, but they're entertaining, and you're always going to learn something. It's not just me going up there and being like, have a Freaky Friday, like weird pic. It's not. No, I like to put something substantial on there, because like when I look at Instagrams, like, I'm sorry, but I get very annoyed when people just like put a pretty picture and they're like heart, like peace sign. I can't. I like when people have something really, really interesting to say.
Me too.
And I don't like when people are just like, I don't know. I know Instagram's all about the pictures
and the
for
image,
most people, but for me, it's about both. I'm like, no, put cool content. Like, actually put something cool, write something cool with it. And if I'm not going to learn something, be witty, be funny, put something.
At the very least, be authentic, I think.
Because be authentic, do something.
Every time, like, you be authentic with social media, it's like you're kind of transcending that image that, like, social media is like, oh, it's like all image and fake, because again, I don't think it has to be. Imagine a social media where everyone was authentic and expressing themselves. Like, that's amazing to me. That's kind of what my book's about in regards to dating and swipe apps. But like, that's how I think, like, as a culture, I want to live in a culture, in a society where everyone is authentic, because it's 100% possible, and it just sounds nice. It just sounds really great.
Yeah, and another thing, okay, Michael, can I get your opinion on this?
Sure.
Since we're just like talking away.
Yeah.
Like, also with authenticity on social media, I don't understand, and I understand with brands, there's a certain mood and you got to stay on the brand. So, okay. But with people, sometimes I'm just like, yo, we're not always in a good mood. We're not always in or in one mood. We're not always in one mood, whatever that one mood may be. Yeah. So it's so hard for me to follow pages that are strictly one mood based. Yeah. I don't know why. It is like with people, I think, because I'm like, why are you making your life seem so perfect all the time?
Yeah, what's that about? Yeah, even like, why are you even doing that? It is weird.
Instagram, but people need to know Instagram it's fake. It's very fake in many ways. But for the people, but you can definitely pick out the people who at least try to make it authentic for what it is. I
agree.
And yeah, I remember I interviewed, I won't say any names, but I interviewed an editor at a magazine one time, like a women's based magazine. And I remember, and I was just like, for little girls out there who are seeing these images and trying to think that they have to look a certain way, what do you got to say to these little girls?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she said that everything is not real. Nothing is real in these magazines.
It's so true.
Nothing. She's like, that's the number one advice I would give to these little girls.
Wow. That's great. Yeah.
Anyway, that was kind of a tangent that we went on.
That. Well,
I know.
Do you have any like final thoughts? And also, just definitely make sure after we end this broadcast, go down in the comments and like write all your links, just so people will have easy access to them. And I think I have them all in an email, but once I figure out the whole translating these to YouTube, I'll definitely like have your bio and all the links up there, because that'll be a more permanent page where, like, if people want to listen to these episodes like a podcast in their car, like, you can easily do that on YouTube. So that's kind of my intention for that once I figure out how to easily edit them and upload them, because it's proved to be more difficult than I would like it to be right now, but
I guess once Mercury's at a retrograde, it'll get better.
It'll
Let's
just be
hope.
Yeah.
But anyone, Surreal Camile, just follow. And after the broadcast, everybody, I will be putting the tags, and there's no website for the show right now, but so it's really just the social media to follow.
Yeah.
As of right now. And if you need PR help, if you know someone who does, I'm also a real good publicist. So I'm not going to put my, follow me at Camile Sardina. I'll put that too.
Cool.
And you can look into my business.
Yeah. Amazing. Any like like one sentence to give to the people, like tomorrow, the world's ending, what should the people know?
Have fun along the way, okay, with everything that you're doing, because it's going to be crazy. If it's your first time with the business, with the, like all these crazy projects, you're gonna feel, you know, crazed at times. You're gonna feel really crazed. So don't forget that this is life and that you really should not take it so seriously. Okay, don't take yourself so seriously. And for people who want to hate, like, oh my God, let them be miserable. You know what? You're doing your thing and you're having fun.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
Yeah, don't forget to just have fun in what you're doing, and you know, just remember that you love what you're doing. You know, with creatively what I'm doing, I love it. So the work that I do every day, it's worth it. It's worth it.
I agree 100%.
For what I'm building.
That's great words. Evan Chowder just joined the broadcast. We're at the very end of the show, Evan. Thank you for tuning in.
Evan!
There's been so many. Do you know Evan too? That'd be insane.
No, I don't.
I was gonna say,
Did
I was
he
like,
go to UF also?
Well, yeah. And then I went to Park Maitland with him in Orlando. So funny. There's been so much. I went to St. Cloud High School. Okay, that's so funny.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, because we both lived in Florida.
I lived all over Florida, but yeah, cool, sweet. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming on the 10th episode of the Michael Boothby Show. Oh my gosh, what a big milestone.
The 10th one!
And I'm having so much fun. That's why I keep going, because I keep having fun guests. If this was like super professionally produced, like fucking outro music would be playing right now, and we'd be having a dance party. You know? Well, maybe we could just dance. Maybe we will dance, and I can go in post, and I'll just add music.
Let's go with my Wolf shirt. Woo!
Yeah, with my plaid. All right, guys, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. This has been the Michael Boothby Show. I'll be back next week with you guys. I've been Michael. This is Camille. Have a wonderful weekend.